a Mike Week 8 recap, even though it says Week 7 recap because Tony doesn't know how to edit. But
Oh,
that's
I forgot to hit save. Now it's
okay.
gonna go.
There we go. Yeah. All right. There we go. Anyways, as you see, Mike and Matt are not here. They are officially on their honeymoon. Congratulations to those two on getting married.
Yeah,
We'll let them talk about how their honeymoon went when they get back next week. Uh,
we have to go
that said,
celebrate in San Francisco for the weekend. So
yeah. So yeah. We won't go too much into detail. We'll let them talk about their little shindig of what they got going on.
they didn't even invite us to the wedding. Damn,
I know, dude.
scums.
So, anyways, with that said, Tony, Monday night game, man, Raiders, your team.
I don't even want to talk about this, how disappointed I am in this and with this entire thing. Like blow it up. Like I'm at that point now. Like I blow it up. Like I was there last week, now 2 weeks ago, and the last week I was like, but then like blow it up. But like this week, blow it the fuck up, dude. I was pissed sitting there watching that shitty ass game. Like my player of the what is it? At least you tried is like it, and it's not even like at least you tried. It's like you suck, man. Jimmy Garoppolo. I've been saying it since before he was a Raider, when he was a Patriot to a Niner to a fucking Raider. He's not good whatsoever. I actually will take back what I said in the beginning. I said that he was better than Derek Carr, and I'm sorry, Derek. Derek was never the answer, but you're better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Our defense played the best game they've probably played in the past few seasons. Our defense was dominating, and they just got tired out, man. I don't understand how you're like Marcus Peters gets a pick six. That dude looked like he was 300 pounds running back to the freaking end zone. He was so tired. But at the end of the day, your defense can only take you so far. Jimmy G is fucking overthrowing Adams, and he's missing easy passes. And it's just like, how much do you have to endure as a fan? And as Mark Davis, how much do you have to endure to just like say, yeah, we're just going to continue with Josh McDaniels and Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, we're just going to bench him, dude. Put AOC in. Give the kid a shot if you're going to let that atrocity play on the Raiders. Like, just let Jimmy, just get rid of him. Put him in the backseat. That doesn't even matter if we lose money anymore. It's awful. Worst game of the season by far.
Yeah, it still goes back to what we were talking about when they signed Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, you move on from Derek Carr, and then you move into a Jimmy Garoppolo area, and it's like you question it. Like, you guys saved a couple $1 million on the salary cap, but you guys aren't like in that position to give a shit about salary cap. You guys aren't competing for a playoff spot or anything like that right now. You guys should be building up on young guys, like what you said. Let AOC play. Like, let's see what you guys have in some of these younger players at this point. Here's my problem: is that you guys are definitely at the point where you guys should blow everything up. The trade deadline is tomorrow. Trade Adams. Trade him. Get some extra picks. Like, you guys really need to figure out like an identity. Like, going into the season, you guys had like on paper, you guys look like you guys could compete. I didn't think you guys would make the playoffs, but I figured you guys would compete. You guys did compete tonight, at least on one side of the ball.
Yeah.
Not the other. And that's been the MO for like the Raiders the last few years. Offense will do great. Defense will
shit the bed.
Defense go up. Offense won't show up. Like, just like your last year against the Niners.
Yeah, dude. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand the thought process behind like Josh McDaniels' offense. Like, his offense hasn't showed up at all season. I don't get why we have to continue to do this. I think Adams and Crosby deserve way better than what the Raiders are giving them. And I think I agree with you. Kind of trade them and give those guys an opportunity for a ring. Adams can go. I think the Patriots, or not Patriots, Chiefs. I'm sorry, they won't trade in the division, but the Chiefs, somebody's got to give him something so he can get a ring, man. He deserves it. Crosby deserves a ring. Raiders ain't going to give it to him. I just don't understand how Josh McDaniels inherits a playoff team and makes them worse, like significantly worse. I don't get it.
Well, he sucked in Denver. It was
Exactly. He sucked in Denver. Why do people think he's this offensive guru? He's not. He never has been. It's because he can't cheat. He's probably exhausted all his options already, and people know his little gimmicks on He's cheating. He's under the microscope. So why would you? I don't understand why people would hire this guy. And now there's talks of like, okay, well, if McDaniels gets fired, then we're gonna go get Harbaugh, and Harbaugh's under the microscope too for cheating. The fuck, like, I don't understand why you want to go from one guy to the next. Like, I don't get it, dude. Like, the world's a freaking. This is the craziest season ever.
Yeah, and here's the thing, McDaniels. We all know he's not going to be around come next year.
Yep.
So the other reason I say sell Adams, you know what? Fuck it. Sell Adams, sell Crosby, sell Jacobs. I know that's not what Raider fans want to hear, but the amount of picks that you could load up on right there with those three guys, and then you give this new coach the opportunity to build the team that structures with what he wants to do offensively, defensively, or whatever. The problem sometimes with these coaches that come in and take over a team is that their schemes aren't made for the talent that's already on the team. They need to go in and they need to sign their own free agents. They need to draft their own young guys, and do that.
Yep.
So right now, you guys could get the draft capital to get the quarterback of the future. With these guys, draft some weapons for him. Your guys' offensive line is definitely in something that needs to be attended to immediately. And I always felt like that was the problem with Carr. Carr, for the longest time, never had any you look at him, he just had happy feet all the time because he was so scared to get hit from behind.
Yeah.
And there was times where the guy would still be 3 feet from him and he would just curl up and fall because
he's scared.
Yeah, he lost all the confidence in the world. And Jimmy Garoppolo, as tough he is, I will say the one thing about him is, he's been injured a lot, but I've also seen him take some massive hits and get up and play with injuries. Yeah. It's going to be the same thing with him. Just at this point, can you really have confidence in Garoppolo?
Yeah, none whatsoever. After tonight's game, awful. The dude had 99 yards passing up until the 4.5 minute mark of the fourth quarter. How trash do you have to be, man? I don't get it, dude. It's so bad. Adams threw his helmet on the ground again. He was pissed. I don't understand how Mark Davis sees that and just allows it to continue. Do something, because tomorrow, nothing's going to happen tomorrow. That's the sad part, right? There's so much speculation, but nothing's going to happen tomorrow. And the Raiders are just going to continue to shit the bed all season. And there's worse teams than us. And we're going to get picked number 7 or pick number 8. Some fucking shitty top 10 pick that's not going to get us anywhere. And it's going to completely set up the next coach for failure. And I feel bad because they're not going to be able, they're going to have to either trade up and we're going to have to lose draft stock in the future or in the later in the next year's draft just to fucking move up from 7 to 1 or 7 to 2 or some bullshit. I don't get what we have to go through to get a good year, man. Go back to the 2016 Raiders, man. I'll take Derek Carr from 2016 over the bullshit any day.
Well, you get that out of your system, you feel pretty good now?
I want to cry. I'm not going to lie.
It's right.
I'm not going to do it.
We'll move on. We'll move on to the Niners and the Bengals. Looking at this score, people would assume that the Bengals manhandled the Niners. Wasn't really the case, but I will say another costly, timely turnover by Purdy. I don't completely put it on him. Score. It's almost the last play in the third quarter. Score was 17-10. Niners were driving hard. They were right there. I think it was the 3-4 yard line. And he rolls out on a bootleg. His guy Elijah Mitchell wide open, goes to throw it, but he does one of these soft tosses. Puts his hand up, blocks it, goes right into his hands. Turnover, and after that, Bengals drove down, scored. And once it was 24-10, the way the defense – now, I know a lot of people want to put this on Purdy. It wasn't on Purdy. Kyle Shanahan and Steve Wilkes are to blame for this loss.
Yep.
Here's why I'm going to say Purdy rushed the ball. He actually Niners only had 17 attempts outside of Purdy's rushing yards. That is not a Kyle Shanahan offense. McCaffrey only rushed the ball 12 times.
Yeah.
You do not have a player like McCaffrey in your backfield and use him that kind of way. I just think that right now that Purdy has been able to do things that Shanahan really hasn't had because he's had Garoppolo and he's had to limit what he can do through the air. And I think he's fallen a little bit too much in love with Purdy and kind of giving him the keys to the car when Purdy's not ready. People forget Purdy still doesn't have a full regular
Super young.
Yeah, he doesn't have a full regular season under his belt. He would still be considered a rookie. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pressure on this young man's shoulder because everyone's expecting him to take them to the Super Bowl. How many times has a rookie come in and they'd be like, yep, you have to take us to the Super Bowl. Look at this roster. You have to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I know people really want to jump on him, but I was kind of looking things up. He still has the second highest passer rating in the NFL. Okay. Put it this way. Patrick Mahomes has 15 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Now, Hurts, no one's talking about the season Hurts has. Hurts is 13-8. 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Purdy has an 11-point more. He's higher quarterback rating than Hurts. 11 points. They basically have the same talent on each other's team. I would take A.J. Brown and Smith over Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. I really will. Because A.J. Brown is just right now on another level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, I would take Kittle over Goddard, and I would take the rushing ability of McCaffrey over Swift, but I think they're both electric with the ball in their hand. Swift has some really good skills. You get him out into open, he can do some things. I think catching-wise, they both kind of bring the same element.
Yeah.
McCaffrey is still slightly higher, but then again, the offensive line in Philadelphia is much better than the offensive line in San Francisco. I was talking to Matt earlier today, interrupting their honeymoon.
Oh, he took a second out of his day.
And I was telling him, so there's an interesting stat. All of Purdy's interceptions for his career, all the interceptions except for one, have come when Deebo has not been available to play. Week 2, when Ayuk wasn't available, you wouldn't have been able to tell. Because Purdy seems to have a much better connection with Deebo Samuel than he does with Brandon Ayuk. And it's starting to show the last few weeks without Deebo. Okay, you got to remember left tackle Williams is out. So I'm not trying to make excuses because these games we still should have won. They should have beat the Browns. Missed field goal at the end. Purdy did their job. Should have won there. But to lose to Minnesota, that there was no excuse on that one. That one I put on. But this game I don't. This one, Steve Wilkes needs to figure out what's going on. He's not. Yeah. We're pressuring at 15% rate. It's the lowest in the NFL. So pressure-wise, meaning bringing more than 4 guys. You're bringing at least 5 guys, right? The next closest team, Arizona Cardinals at 19%. I think we need to bring much more pressure. We need to really start getting on these quarterbacks. And another thing, we got to shore up to tackling, man. The 49ers have not been able to tackle worth of crap.
Mm-hmm.
That team went from, like, if they put their hands on you, you're going down to you might break 2 or 3 tackles.
It's flag football.
Yeah.
Playing flag football.
I think the bye week came at a perfect time.
Yeah.
I think they're going to sit down, relax, and then they're going to have to play a very hot Jacksonville Jaguars team in Jacksonville. After that, I don't quite remember who we play. It's no one special, but after that, it's Seattle, Philly, Seattle.
Yeah, you guys get a break. I mean, you play the Jags, the Bucks, the Seahawks.
Well, the Jags are not the Jags are not a break right now.
No, the Jags are not. You're next. Yeah, the Jags. You're gonna after this bye week. The Jags are gonna. If they continue their hot streak, if the Jags have a shitty week next week, then
have a bye.
Who?
I want to say bye. I think we both have buys if I remember right.
Let me see. I'll check. Old check. Oh, well, I know I won't because this thing sucks, bro. But I guess I'll talk now about this game. I would put the whole thing on your defense. I think your defense completely shit the bed these past few weeks, actually. And I think I don't know what Shanahan is thinking by not. I feel like Christian McCaffrey's usage, I think that is a key thing that I've been focusing on the past few weeks, is his usage has gone down. Yeah, he's still over, like, he's still doing well, But I mean, in the first 3 games, he was on pace for like 1,500 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. I just like he probably could have he at his pace in the first 3 games, he probably could have put up more touchdowns than LaDainian Tomlinson, but like a long time ago. I don't remember the exact year. It's like 2000 something. But like he was phenomenal, and I think his usage has just gone down.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, and I don't understand exactly why. Like that guy could have another Hall of Fame year, and it just went downhill. I don't understand what's going on with that team. You guys are doing so well, and it's not like the other teams figured you out. You're visibly playing shittier. I don't get it.
Well, I can tell you it's because we're throwing the ball more than what we should be. Even when we're down, just run the ball. That's what this team is built to do, is to run the ball, and we go off of play action. That's just what the 49ers are. Purdy doesn't need to throw the ball 31 times. He shouldn't need to. Even down, most of the game they were down 1 touchdown. It wasn't until the fourth quarter where they went down 2 scores and they were forced to throw the ball. The whole game, it was a 1-score game. Yeah. So realistically, he should have just been pounding the rock. And when we're at the goal line like that, pound the ball. McCaffrey always just finds a way into the end zone.
Yeah, you got to trust McCaffrey at that point. It's like it's the same when you look at them not utilizing McCaffrey in the way that he should be utilized. Like it's the same thing as what's his name, Marshawn Lynch, when the Seahawks didn't utilize him. So you froze, Scott. Well, I guess I have to carry this. We're going to go to a break. Then we have to scratch this. Yeah, you disconnected.
Difficulties, the stream dropped, so
Not
don't
my
remember
internet.
where we, huh?
Matt, it wasn't my internet, I swear.
So anyways, enough with the Niners. That's good enough. We're going to jump into the Jaguars Pittsburgh game. I got to enjoy this game. This was actually a pretty good game. Jaguars, they only won by 10, but they pretty much dominated the whole game from start to finish. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh really needs to figure some things out. They are definitely in trouble, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Pickens, I feel, is like such a special player, and they just do nothing with him. Mm-hmm. Nothing. He had 1 target, I think, going into like the middle of the third quarter, and that 1 target was canceled out by a penalty. Yeah. So I just don't understand like why you have such a dynamic player like that, and you're not trying to get him the ball. The other thing is they're running. So check this out. So their top runner was Warren. He was 5 for 19.
Yep, they're like what? How many rushers did they have over 10 yards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rushes over 10 yards, but nobody over 20 yards total.
Yeah, they were 18 for 70.
Crazy.
It just the Jaguars looked really good on both sides of the ball, but again, I think the defensive side for the Jaguars comes down to the way Pittsburgh was trying. Like if I was watching, I was just trying to figure out what they were trying to do. Like, are you trying to establish the pass? Are you trying to establish the run? Are you just trying to move the down football? Like there was just nothing going on. I really didn't get it. And then when you watch the Jaguars, I mean, it was really nice. Ridley really showed up. It just seemed like Trevor Lawrence was really trying to make sure that Ridley was getting involved. The other thing too is I don't know how to explain this. Like I know I said that the Jaguars were dominating this game, but when you kind of watch them, like I don't know what they are either. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I was gonna comment. I had the exact same feeling. Like this game wasn't a blowout. It didn't feel like Jags just dominated the Steelers, even though the Steelers play like garbage. I mean, if you look at Etienne, it's like he's been dominating the past few weeks, and in this game he just looked like fucking David Montgomery. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, they did. He did have that nice long touchdown. I think it was like 44 yards from Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, running the ball, like he wasn't like, yeah, like what you said, the last few weeks he's been really doing really good, but he didn't like really break off any like really long runs when you watch him. Everything was just like 4 yards here, 4 yards there, which can eventually turn into something because you can wear down a defense, especially with Pittsburgh not being able to stay on the field. It can wear out the other defense, but watching that game, the offense did at the same time leave a little bit of like something like you just wanted more out of their offense.
I
You
think
know
the
what I
whole
mean?
game you wanted more. Like you wanted some excitement, but I feel like the freaking Steelers just did not play well enough to make it exciting.
No, and the Steelers are weird. I really don't know how they're 4-3. Did you know every game this season they've been outgained yardage wise?
I just don't.
Yeah, I don't. It's just the football is weird, man. If you think
Yeah.
about it, right? Because they're 4-3, and if I were to tell you, yeah, Pittsburgh and Chargers, who's a better team?
I would say Chargers.
Yeah, but what the Chargers? What 3-4?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So football's weird. You can look at a team and just be like, how is this team succeeding? They're kind of like Minnesota last year. You're like, how are they succeeding? They're not really that good.
Yeah, and then they're gonna go. And imagine this Steelers team in the playoffs. Imagine this Steelers team in the playoffs. Like, what am I watching? Like it just like a team that doesn't even deserve to be this far is this far. It doesn't make any sense. Like when you watch this game, it just looks like it doesn't even. It definitely does not look like the backyard smash mouth football that we used to get from the Steelers. I feel after Big Ben, our Steelers team has just gone downhill. That entire team is carried by TJ Watt. That guy's amazing, but you can't. I don't know. It's not. It wasn't a fun game to watch.
You know what it is? Is that the Pittsburgh Steelers are like the Tennessee Titans. They're an average team. They're not that exciting. They manage to scrape out wins here and there, but they're just like that team that you're like when you're like searching for a game to watch. You're like, do I really want to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers? I really only wanted to watch that game because I wanted to actually watch the Jaguars. I hadn't had a chance to really watch a Jaguars game this year, and I know they're a young, exciting team. But I was expecting the Jaguars to kind of blow out the Steelers. I really was hoping that they would take that leap, but they didn't. So
yeah,
I still think that Niner-Jaguar game is going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be two exciting teams. But the one thing I didn't get a chance to really talk about before everything got ruined, the Bengals look 100% back.
They are
100% back. That offense was clicking. The defense is good enough to stop offenses. I think after this, I think they're good. They're going to go on a nice run. I think they're going to be okay. I think by the end, I don't think they're going to win their division. I think that slow start is going to hurt them too much. I think Baltimore's too good of a team for them to give up the lead. I'm going to say I believe the Ravens will win the division, but the Bengals are not a team I want to see come into my house come playoff time if they are really healthy.
After next week they have the Bills. That's going to be a good game. I take Bengals. Clicking like this, take Bengals all day. Bills, Houston, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Minnesota, Pittsburgh. I feel like after I'm watching Kansas City play, I think Bengals dominate them. I think they literally
Burrow owns Mahomes.
Yes, every time. I think Jacksonville, Baltimore, and Buffalo are their next 3 games that they might have competition. But for the rest of the season, they could win every game.
I will say this: if they can go out there and beat the Bills and Ravens, then they'll have a great opportunity to win their division. And after starting the way that they did, for them to come and they end up winning the division, forget it. I would not want any part of that.
Comeback of the year, they're going to win the Super Bowl. If they do that, they have to win the Super Bowl, or else it's done. You're never going to win the Super Bowl. That's it. Like that momentum should carry you all the way to the Super Bowl. And I said the same thing about the Niners, and the Niners are not a shit the bed. I'm like, fuck. As soon as I like openly admit like the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl, they just start shitting the bed for the next few weeks. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You make me look bad.
Dude, trust me, I feel it. So the last game we wanted to talk about, you wanted to talk about
Yeah.
the Broncos, right?
So I wanted to talk about the Chiefs Broncos game. I know that we're picking games of the week normally, but the reason I wanted to talk about the Chiefs Broncos game is it was only 2 years ago that everybody like, AFC West was the fucking division. Like that was the division to beat, man. I was like, man, the Raiders are never gonna go to the playoff Super Bowls. We gotta beat the Chargers, we gotta beat the Broncos, we gotta beat Chiefs. We got Mahomes, Wilson, Herbert. Everyone's clicking on all gears, and we just got Derek Carr. Oh man, we got Devontae Adams too. Let's roll. It's gonna be the division for the decades. Literally, this year it's the worst division. Like this is the worst. The AFC West, in my opinion, is the worst division of I don't know the decade. Like I don't understand how you have all of these star elite players and you're just trash. Like we talked about the Raiders in the beginning, fucking trash. You have Max Crosby, one of the arguably top 3 defensive ends in the league. You have Adams, number 1 wide receiver in the league. You have Mahomes, Wilson, Javonte Williams is coming up in the world. Like you have star players on both sides of the ball, and nothing happens. It's the worst division in the league. I don't get it. And when you watch this game, it solidifies worst division in the league. At first, I wanted to call this the worst game, but then the Raiders played, and they just like made me sad. So I don't understand, bro. I was like so happy because I was like, yeah, Chief, the Broncos, the worst game of the week, and then the Raiders played. I'm like, man, why you guys gotta do that to me for? I was all prepped to say that happily. Now I'm just like, man, we're just a part of the crew. Like the reason that they lost, like the Chiefs lost is because everyone thought the Chiefs were going to dominate the Broncos, who've just been playing like garbage.
They should be. The Broncos are like the worst team in football.
Yes, and I can't even say that the Broncos played well, especially on offense. Both quarterbacks played like ass. Mahomes had no touchdowns. There was 5 turnovers by the Chiefs, 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions, and then you got Wilson who has 2 fumbles. Like I don't get it what was going on. Like it was an ass game to watch, period. And like what Wilson had like 126 yards passing or something.
Yeah.
Mahomes had like 250 and it's just it doesn't make any sense. Like these are 114 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. But I mean his touchdowns were only possible because the 5 turnovers that the defense had. I just don't get it, man. Ass game. AFC West is the worst division in the past decade to ever exist. Every team sucks. None of us deserve to go to the playoffs.
NFC South's not that good either.
I know, but AFC West hurts more for me.
No, I feel you on that. It's because really outside of the Kansas City Chiefs, none of the teams have been very good. You know,
and even the Chiefs, if the Chiefs continue to play like the way they played yesterday, who are they going to beat?
Hey, what happened with Mahomes anyways? He was limping around after the game.
I honestly don't know. I didn't see like a massive hit that would have hurt him. Like I didn't see anything that would just like took him out of the game. I just maybe it caught up to maybe it was because it was cold. I don't know. I honestly don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
it's a shitty game, shitty division.
On that game?
That's what I wanted to say. Shitty game, shitty division, worst division in the league.
All right, Kirk Cousins hurt. Minnesota's 4-4. They're going to be rolling with Jaron Hall, their first round draft pick at quarterback, and Nick Mullins expected back week 10. What do you do if you're Minnesota? Do you try to go out and get a quarterback, hoping that maybe you can still compete with Justin Jefferson's coming back? Addison's been just absolutely balling out. You got TJ Hawkinson out there. It wouldn't be very hard to plug and play a quarterback. One name I heard Justin Jefferson threw this out there, Jameis Winston. What do you think? Do you think the Saints would be willing? They're not using them. Might as well, right? Get something.
I honestly think you have to go get Winston, man, especially if your number one wide receivers, like bring him in. I envision this happening because like Kirk Cousins was, I feel like he was picking it up the past 2 games, and he was like, all right, let's get this, and then this happens, man. It's just devastating for the guy because you never want to see that happen, especially to somebody who doesn't deserve it. Like Aaron Rodgers didn't deserve it. Fucking first few plays done, a season's over the first game. Like Kirk Cousins running on all cylinders past 2 games, and just Achilles done. It doesn't make any sense, man. Like the universe sucks. I'll put that out there. The universe fucking sucks, especially people who don't deserve it. And so when you have Justin Jefferson, like, yo, bring my boy Winston, I feel like Winston, if they trade for him, which I think they should, I think you know what, you got to go all out because Justin Jefferson, I know they're going to keep him, either franchise tag him or they give him this stupid contract. You got Jordan Addison, you need to beef up your O-line. Winston is going to go out there and he's going to just bomb it. He doesn't give a fuck. He is like the Fitzpatrick of like, he'll be the Fitzpatrick of the Minnesota Vikings. That when he was in Tampa Bay. Like he watched Fitzy just fucking bomb it. Somebody's gonna catch it. And Justin Jefferson's like, I'll catch you, homeboy. Just boom, 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 boom. I don't care if he gets 5 interceptions as long as he has 700 yards passing.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing. I don't think you can really rely on a rookie quarterback with the way the Vikings are built. They have no run game. So you're really willing to put like your season like is on the line. They're kind of like in like must-win territory in a way, being 4-4. But here's the problem: is they have no run game. So you're really gonna sit there and take a 5th-round rookie, throw him in at quarterback, and say, "Okay, we're gonna need you to throw the ball 45 times for us to win."
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna happen. So I think so. In order to do that, I do think you need to go out there and get a veteran quarterback. It's just whether Minnesota thinks that they're gonna stay competing this year, or they're not. So if they don't make a trade for a quarterback, then I feel like Minnesota is just kind of like where we finish.
Yeah, which sucks because they're going to finish in the middle of the pack and they're not going to have any opportunity for – that means they're going to go all in on Kirk Cousins being their franchise quarterback for the foreseeable future. That's my opinion. I feel like if they give up by not getting a quarterback and try to go win now, they're going to try to re-sign Cousins in the offseason, and they're just going to try to – that's their franchise quarterback. They're not going to try to get somebody that's going to be able to play better than him because Kirk Cousins is never the guy that's going to get him a Super Bowl. I just don't know what's happening with the Vikings. You have to go all in right now because as soon as Justin Jefferson gets back, he wants to win. Addison's playing at an elite level. Jefferson was playing at an elite level, even with shitty play in the first few weeks. Winston might just bomb it down there and make sure either one of them catches it. And they got 0 run game, which it surprised me, talking about the run game, that there's word that Fournette might sign with the Bills. But
I think that'd be a good fit.
Why are the Vikings not signing a running back? Like, Madison's not the answer.
No. Well, they did trade for Cam Akers, and he's not running for a high yards per game, but yeah, he got a touchdown the last couple of weeks. And
yeah.
Maybe they just, like I said, I just don't think they're also not in salary cap position to really sign anyone to multi-year deals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's another issue that they got going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're gonna do. It's if they don't, to me, just if they don't sign a quarterback, then to me they're probably just seeing, okay, what's this Hall guy got? You know, is he gonna be a backup? Could he have potential to maybe be a surprise player that we can use in the future? So we'll see that.
Do you think there's a lot of trades tomorrow?
I don't know. Like, I look at Tennessee, everyone's been speculating that Derrick Henry is going to be moved, but he would not restructure his contract. But he's only owed $5.5 million. So what do you need? That's not a lot of money for anyone, really, if you think about it. $5.5 million, especially for what he could possibly bring to you for the second half of the season. I still believe the Ravens are the best fit for him. They're the team that's going to need him. Now, especially what if now Will Levis, okay, are they doing that because they think that wasn't a fluke game and they have something in him and maybe they could possibly be a wild card team? You know what I mean? Because Derrick Henry still ran for over 100 yards.
Yep.
Hopkins was another guy they were saying to trade. He had 3 touchdowns, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
let's say Will Levis comes out and just balls out.
If you look at their schedule, they can win. If Levis continues to play the way he's playing, which I'm not saying he's elite, right? I was one game and they played the fucking, what was it? They played I don't know. See, I'm already off. They played Atlanta, which it wasn't like he had a challenge. But they played Steelers, garbage, Bucks, same thing as playing Atlanta.
Garbage.
Garbage, but same thing as playing Atlanta. The Jags loss, Panthers, and then the Colts. The next 5 games, they could lose one.
But they're a team they definitely don't want to lose to.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know.
Here's the other thing. What if this was a fluke game and the front office is like, oh, shit, we can't trade anyone. We might have the answer right here, a quarterback. He comes out next week. Yeah, he comes out next week, throws for 156 yards and 3 interceptions.
Could, 100% could. He could get scared with TJ Watt in his face 24/7.
Here's my problem, too, is you're in a division with the Jaguars who are young and good and only going to get better.
Yeah.
What are you guys? What are the Titans? What are you guys?
Young ass dude with the old ass squad. But you know what? That might be enough for this year. But
here's my problem with just this year is that you guys don't have a team that's going to win. You're not getting past the Bills, the Bengals, the Ravens.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's be real. You're not beating any of those 4 teams. The Miami Dolphins, not even talking about them. You're not beating them.
Yeah.
So what are you doing holding on to these guys?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, man.
It doesn't.
It makes no sense. Sometimes when you look at these trade people, it's like, I mean, it's like the Raiders. Why are you guys holding on to Adams and Crosby? Like when clearly you're not going to do anything. Like get the capital. Like why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, we're getting a little long on this podcast.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and go into At Least You Tried this week. Our player of At Least You Tried. And then that's it. So if you're new to the channel, at the end of the show, we like to pick out a player that we think sucked ass this week. And my player is Patrick Mahomes. You had your opportunity to continue to just dominate. You didn't. Your little tummy hurt, apparently, but it still didn't stop them from letting you throw the ball 38 times. You did have 2 picks to no touchdowns. 241 yards passing, 20 yards rushing against arguably a defense that has just been ass all year. But hey, guess what? At least he tried.
Yeah, I talked about mine in the very beginning, and I'll shit on him some more. Jimmy Garoppolo, man, I don't understand this. Why people think he's even remotely good. Even you, Scott, I hate when you defend him. When you did defend him in the past, when he was on your team, I don't care he was on your team, he was ass. Everyone had this idea that Jimmy Garoppolo was the next coming of Tom Brady just because he played behind Tom Brady for so long. The dude never proved anything. He played like 5 games, and then everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, he's amazing." And it's like, dude, this guy's half-assed. He's like he's nowhere remotely good as Tom Brady, and he's not elite in any sense of the word. And then he goes the freaking Niners over here give him a contract like he's some freaking 5-star quarterback at a high school, and you're just like, come on, guys, like what are you guys doing? Nobody, I don't care if he took the Niners to the playoffs. I don't care. Like, he's not good. Period. He sucks. Today proved that. This whole season has proved that. He's ass. He's worse than Derek Carr. It's not even At Least You Tried. Get out of the NFL, man.
Get out of the NFL. Go be a backup somewhere.
Go fuck some porn stars, dude. That's all you need to do.
I like it. Well, anyways, we'll end it with that. Hope you enjoyed the show, everybody. We'll try to do better next week. This one was kind of pieced together with just me and Tony, and yeah, it's just been one of those weeks. So we'll be back Friday. It'll probably drop on Saturday. Probably do a preview of week 9, and we'll talk about if any trades happen, and we got to do somewhere in there. We got to do a mid-season
Yeah, mid-season highlights, or not even highlights, but projection. Like now, everything we know mid-season does our original Super Bowl projections. I've changed my Super Bowl projections like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, we'll figure that out after week 9. We'll do that. But anyways, everyone have a good evening. Mike and Matt, enjoy your guys' honeymoon, and we'll see y'all later.
Talk to you later.